Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we're going to be looking at our treasure scramble. Now we know the buff is coming up pretty soon. We are ranked 30 right here, which means we've been winning all of our battles so far, which is pretty cool to see. Fireworks going off right there. But the new treasure scramble, or the new iteration of the treasure scramble, is up with our ice debuff, which means we're going to have to change quite a few heroes in here. Big shout out to the AFK guys. I'm going to hop over. We're going to check out the guide that they put out in regards to the treasure scramble. It is really a plethora of information. If you don't have all of the heroes built, there are a lot of substitutes in there, and I love seeing this guide. So let's hop over. We'll take a look at it and really break down this guide. All right, guys, and here it is, the Treasure Scramble Ice Debuff Guide. Again, big shout out to the AFK guys, January of 24. Let's start over on our left side with our dimensional comp. Now we know with every single iteration of the Treasure Scramble, we do have a different debuff in here. So these are the teams that are the best ones that we're seeing right now, which this one is running. This is our dimensional team running Albedo in there, which of course, Joan of Arc. We have Amelia and Rem, and then the awakened version of Leica in there. Now, one thing to remember with this iteration or with this run is what is going to be the impact of the higher signature items and the skills and abilities at the higher signature item. As of right now, we do not know. It is only going to be a matter of time. But even looking here, when you look at Amelia or when you look at Leica, or when you look at Rem, two very high damage dealers, taking them to the plus 40 signature item might make a big difference in here. Now we are also running the Rock Lizard in here as a defensive mechanic, but looking down here at our subs, this is one of the big things. So even looking at our teams version, this is Ulna and Rem. This is an old formation that we've seen. Again, you have to kind of look at where you're subbing heroes in, where you're taking them out, and which ones do work. And a lot of these do run kind of hand in hand. And you'll also notice that Valkyrie is in quite a few of these as a substitute hero. So even looking in place of Joan, we have Merlin, we have Robin Hood, and then we have Valkyrie in there. Even looking the awakened version of Leica, we do have Athalia in there as well as Mulan. Very, very strong substitutes. And then, of course, Rem for Mulan. And then it just kind of goes down the line looking at Yennefer, looking at Ainz, couple different heroes. And then there is also a variation in here that is running Libera and Lucilla, which does work incredibly well with the dimensional heroes. Now, this is more of an original version. You will note that the pet has switched a little bit in there and it has changed. So make sure if you are using those alternate formations that you are adjusting those pets as well. So hopping over to our second team, which is the Awakened Chimera team. Now we know this one, the core is really the awakened version of Chimera. She is the primary one to have in here. Now noting in here, also Lady Simona is in here as well. And also note who the SP effect is actually going on. So in this one, we're not using the awakened version of Athalia's SP, but we are using Chimera's. Now this is also running Edwin in here. If you don't have Edwin, Kanisa and Rook is a very, very solid one to run within this formation, as is Baden. The awakened version of Athalia in here, we have Lady Simona, and then we do have Tamara in here for the buffs and the crowd control aspect with our owl up there. Now, of course, Vespero is a beast if you have it number 18 or at level 18, because it goes hand in hand with the disintegration mechanic that we do see with the awakened version of Chimera. And then, of course, it does show like Kanisa and Rook in here in place of Edwin. And then they're a lot better than the rest of here, but Matria is in here as well. We also do have the original version of Aziz, and of course, Robin Hood. Robin Hood seems to be a really big flex hero in a bunch of different places, that he has a lot of utility. And again, a lot of players are using him in different formations, which is working very well. Now, the awakened version of Athalia, of course, can be Leica or Olgath in there. And then we do have Robin Hood and old school Oden. Pharrell is also in there for Lady Simona. But again, Robin Hood, we have Palmer and we have Gavis in here, which again, just keep in mind where these heroes are being utilized. So you might be able to run one or two teams. When you start getting to 4, 5, 6 teams, you might have to kind of stress out or change up a little bit of these heroes. And then, of course, the 2 teams version has Liberta and Lucilla in here, as well as Lavatoon with the seal in there. Now, getting into our third team right over here, the awakened version of Belinda. And again, you can see the original version of Aziz is in here. Big mana battery. Big reason for him really being a mana battery. And again, based on the debuff that we see within this game mode specifically, makes a big difference. And then, of course, we do have Pandy in here. We are running Jerome, the awakened version of Belinda with the SP effect on there. Gavas and Lavatoon to round out the formations. Here it is kind of support for support. So you can see we have again, the original version of Aziz, but we do have Rowan in here and we have Palmer in here, or looking even at Guineas. Guineas was actually very short-lived as a tank. So was Sonya, very strong. Jerome for Palmer, and then Gavas for Palmer. Then, of course, we do have the old school Rain combination in there, which does work incredibly well. And the Luciberta combination, running Lucila and Liberta in the formation, with a couple of buffers in the awakened version of Belinda. Of course, very strong because of the SP effect that she does possess. Now, looking at team number 4, which is the awakened version of Sophia, again, note what SP effect you're running and what beast you are running within there. But this is a major buffer team. So when you look in here, we have Athiel in here, strong tank buffer. Naruko in here, very strong tank as a buffer. We have Demia in here doing an incredible amount. Again, thinking of a plus 40 signature item. Going to make a big difference in there. And then we also do have Merlin in here and Sophia as a buffer as well. Some alternates in here. This, again, is the original, which was running Ulna in here and also Tarnos. Now, before we had Naruko, we were actually running Anasta within this formation and even the awakened version of Brutus. And then, of course, Sophia and Athalia. Merlin, we're looking at Yennefer and the original version of Athalia, which is running in there. And then the 4 position right there with Palmer. And then, of course, we have the Rem version, if you're not running Rem in that very first version that we did see. So hopping down a little bit to the bottom, this is the Ulna Seal. Now, the Ulna Seal team, for me, personally had a very, very strong win rate, which I love running this one together. All of these heroes, very difficult to actually kill and keep them dead because Lucila will actually bring herself back to life. Flora will be flying, so everyone has to die. A lot of times we see Kelthar in this combination, but we also do see the original version of Taylene in here. And then the subs, Ulna, Kanisa, and Rook have always been a good sub. A lot of players do run Thorin in this because of the retaliation ability, but also the fact that you do have to kill him twice. And then looking at Liberta, we do have Baden in here, and there is Kelthar and Silas as well. Again, you're really prolonging the survivability of these heroes to extend the battle to allow that seal to really throw all of the damage within this game mode. Getting to team number 6, which is Matria. This is the old school Hypo team. Now, of course, with Matria and the SP effect, you are getting double buffs out of the Hypo team, which I absolutely love. Zolrath you can run in here, the awakened version of Leica in here. Now, of course, it's going to be very strong if you do keep it to all of the Hypo heroes in here. It makes a big difference. And in here, we do see Pharrell, we see Lavatoon down here. We see Mortis still with a lot of utility. And this is the budget version. So this was actually one of the original versions that we were running. This is also running the Shroom Spooter as the beast. So again, make sure that you adjust it in the correct formation effectively. And then we get into team number 7, which is the Swollus. Now remember, with this team specifically, the awakened version of Baden with the SP effect, which does have an add, Tarnos, which of course has the stone pillars, which is treated as an add. We also do have Solus in here that has water sprites treated as an add. And then we have Nevi in here that will buff all of them, which is kind of crazy. Everybody but Palmer in here will get buffs because they have summoned entities on the battlefield. And then, of course, we have the Fox Fatale right down here as the beast. Now, a good substitution in here if you don't have Tarnos, and I ran this for a long time, is running either Althos or Athos, the new tank that we have. But Mishka will also work, and Naruko will work very well because Naruko and Mishka both have adds as well. So if you do have Mishka in there, the wolves will get buffs. If you have Naruko in there, Nadia will get buffs. So it works. And then, of course, with this one, Athos is a very, very heavy crowd control hero, allowing the rest of the heroes in here just to dominate formations, making it work incredibly well. Now, of course, some of the subs in here, we have Athiel in there, we have Tamaris in there. We also do have the awakened version of Athalia in there. And then, of course, the bonus team, this is running the original, or excuse me, the awakened version of Thane. We don't see that run very often, again, just based on the debuff, but you can see we're running Vithiel, we have Lucila, Liberta, and then Naruko, which, like I had said before, guys, when you look at these teams in their entirety, there are so many different ways and so many substitutes to kind of slice and dice depending on the heroes that you have. Because if you look at these teams kind of in their entirety. So if you're looking at 7 teams, and let's say I have a really strong hero set where I have, team 1 built really well. I have team 5, team 6 that is built really well. Start with those teams. It will work well if you're not just kind of hodgepodging a couple teams together. Build all 7 of these teams, put these teams in formations, make sure that you build them, and then you can go in there and just kind of switch and pop the teams in as you do progress a little bit further and you do have them built, especially with those alternate formations. So again, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Big shout out to the AFK guys for putting these out. I love the visual guides. It is very, very cool to see. I will put a link down below over on Reddit so you can check it out. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.